Oh, man. All right.
Of the two of us, you're more likely to do that.
What? All right. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
How many sleeping punches have you had to defend from?
That's a conversation for another time.
Another day.
All righty. So, welcome back to the show. We are here.
We are here. We are here. Every time you do that, all I can hear is Horton Hears a Who.
It's all right. It's okay because we are also fighting for our survival.
It's okay. I'm okay.
Yes. It is what a time to be alive. I just keep saying that. Anytime people talk to me at my job and they're just like talking about how the craziness life is, that's what I just say. I just say, what a time to be alive.
Because it's just so surreal.
Yeah.
Like that's the only word I have for it today. Like at one point I had to apologize to my coworkers because I just kept laughing at things and they were taking everything really seriously. I was like, I'm sorry. I think this is the way I respond to this situation because I can't believe it's happening.
Yeah.
But this was not the lead-in we planned, by the way.
You're right. All right. To the lead-in that we planned. We had an interesting evening tonight.
We always have an interesting evening.
Well, that is kind of the byproduct of having 4 small children. Your life is constantly interesting.
Yeah, so interesting that sometimes people tell me about their families or their lives, and I'm like, why do I care about this? Like, that sounds like a normal day. What are you talking about? Right. And I'm like, oh, because that was new for you. Oh, that happens like weekly.
Yeah, but tonight we decided that it would be a good idea to blow off some steam in the backyard, which means that we took our children outside. It was a little chilly outside. Mm-hmm. And Rory really wanted to swing.
Can I just tell it from my perspective?
Yes, please do.
So when we went outside, I noticed that in the 3 days that we hadn't picked up poop around the yard, there were 20 mounds of dog poop around the yard. And so I was like, I'm going to pick up the dog poop while you guys play.
Right.
And I'm scraping up dog poop and I hear Rory go,
terrible. You should not be laughing at this. It's so terrible.
Sorry, he goes, push me higher, Daddy.
I did.
I hear the swing go, and then I hear the swing kind of make a thunky noise, and then another deeper thunk on the ground. And I look up, and there's my son just laying on the ground.
You're terrible.
It's one of those things when you replay it in your head, it's really funny. Like it's in the moment, I looked up and I was like, what happened? And then you turned. I think the funnier part was that I saw him on the ground first because you turned around and it took you another 2 seconds to be like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, no, the problem is that our children are really good at swinging and they get underdogs on a fairly regular basis, right?
Anytime you're pushing them.
Yeah, anytime they're on the swings, they get an underdog.
If it's me, they get like an under chihuahua. Like it's really small.
True. But we've packed away most of our winter gear, and so Rory didn't have any gloves. So he wore a pair of my gloves, which obviously did not fit, which meant that his grip on the swing was not
minimal at best.
Yeah, was not adequate. And I guess, I didn't see it because my back was turned and your head was down. My
head was down. I was scraping up poop.
But
I'm not staring at kids while I'm scraping up poop. I'm staring at the poop.
But Rory got a nice forehead full of mud.
It's just this big mound of mud right on his forehead.
Yeah.
Somehow one of his shoes got really wet. I don't know if you noticed.
Sometimes the pants fly off. So many references to things that are like at least 20 years
old. I did not get to witness the pants portion. But yeah, poor guy. And he was very upset about it in the moment. And then when we were like, well, maybe you should take a bath. It was like, well, everything's good now. Yeah. I get to go take a bath.
Yeah.
So it ended nicely.
Yeah, it's just, I hope that he doesn't have a giant bruise on his forehead because
I think the ground is soft enough that it probably cushioned him. Like it wasn't a thunk like child's head hitting wood. It was a thunk like
It's more of a oomph.
Well, yeah, like a pillow landing, where it's still heavy, but you can tell no one got hurt.
He got a little hurt.
He may have gotten a little hurt.
But the problem is he just was getting over a big old bruise on his cheek because he was messing around and fell off the toilet.
Yeah.
So
and basically that bruise is very weird. Like, I'm still trying to process how that bruise happened in the shape that it did. Because it for a couple of days, it looked like he took a Sharpie marker and just drew a line down his face.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to change colors where it's a little yellow, a little purple. Like, you can tell it's actually a bruise. But for a while, I would look at it and be like, when did you get a marker? And then, oh, yeah, that's just your face right now. So.
Yeah. But he's fine.
He is. Yeah, he is. He's good. And I think his head is like steel.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked before about how he has a head knocking quota. Like, he bumps his head multiple times.
He probably fell off the swing purposefully. Like, I haven't hit my head today. Gotta hit my head.
All right. Let's jump into our first segment here with the Family Update. All right. So we are down to just 2 children right now.
It's a little weird.
Yeah? You feeling a little strange?
Yeah. I know that at one point today I was feeling very like melancholy.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, it's good. I know it's all fine, but man, I miss my kids.
Yeah. So because it is spring break and because of all the craziness that's going on in the world today with things getting shut down and people taking lots of precautions, we are fortunate enough that your mom's retired. And so we were able to arrange with her that
over spring break for my kids.
Right. Danny and Mari could go spend some time at the farm with their grandparents.
Just hanging out, doing fun crafts, being, kind of, and before everything kind of got shut down, it was probably going to be more like a girls' week just because of the nature of my father's work. But with everything, it's like the 4 of them get to hang out, and I think that's really awesome. And I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah.
Because I like where I grew up. It's a neat place.
Yeah.
So we always said that I lived a charmed life growing up on the farm, and so I like sending my kids off to be charmed for a little while.
Yeah. So excited for them, and it does give us a little bit of a break, but it also means that Rory and Jetta have this whole different dynamic because their older siblings are gone, and they were wild.
I don't know if it was like confusion and worry, and so they just lost it. But Jetta especially, just like, she didn't want to be held, she didn't want to be picked up.
Right.
She wanted your attention, she didn't want your attention. Whatever you did, it was the wrong thing. Even if she was making motions like she wanted that thing. And just the whole night was like one big screaming fit until she went to bed.
Yeah. It was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. So hopefully that changes.
Yeah. Well, I think things will hopefully normalize.
Mellow
as thing goes on.
Yeah.
But speaking of all the craziness that's going on, this wonderful time that it is to be alive. Yeah. A lot of this is going on across the country.
The country, yeah.
Things are closing down. Schools are either moving to online education or to just closing up shop completely. Obviously elementary schools.
Yeah. Most schools in our area are saying they are going to be closed indefinitely. And I think they're using that language just because there is this like quiet hope that things will pass over us a lot faster than what people are projecting. Yeah. But then there's also the realistic side of administration going, people have basically looked at the statistics of this virus and have drawn it out that this could go until midsummer.
Mm-hmm.
And so this may be our school year.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I am actually preparing to do a lot of work from home.
Yeah, that'll
Teaching
be
from
fun.
home. It'll be different. It'll be fun because I'll be at home.
Right.
And I love home. I'm
You're
a homebody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it'll be tough because it's going to be a whole new, different way of teaching.
Right.
That in some ways I feel like I have an advantage with, because I have been taking online courses. So I have a lot of really good modeling of things that work really well. And I have some modeling of things that maybe don't work as well.
Right.
So I have an idea of good practices to do as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also going to be tough in that, like, I am accountable kind of just to me and my students. And that's huge when you're accountable to your students, but it also makes it really easy to be like, oh, you guys don't want to do this. Okay, let's just not.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting balance. And I think the other thing I worry about is that if more things close, like right now, our area is very lucky and most daycares have not closed.
Right.
So right now I'm very lucky in that when I'm preparing, I'm thinking about, okay, I should actually still have about 8 hours a day that I can actually work.
Right.
And not have to balance with being mom. But if something were to happen where daycares were asked to shut down to help prevent the spread, I would somehow be balancing like mom to 4 and trying to keep them on a schedule and trying to keep 2 of them doing educational things so that they don't lose momentum in their learning, as well as like, oh, hey, 120 students that I'm trying to keep moving in their education. So
very difficult balancing act.
It'll be interesting, but it'll be good.
Yeah,
it'll be good. We're gonna make the most of this situation.
Yeah, I really hope we don't get to that point. But with the way things are going, who knows?
Who knows? I mean, we just have to be flexible and understand that everyone is trying to do the smartest, best thing for the situation.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. Never mind. No, that's too negative. I'm not gonna put that out there.
All right. So last little tidbit here. If you saw our little teaser earlier today, I did put up a video of our family playing in the snow. Yes, the weather decided to get crazy once again. We got a good helping of snow 2 days ago. 2 nights ago.
3 nights ago. 3 nights ago, 2 days ago.
Yes. And it actually snowed quite a bit, but the weather warmed up pretty quickly after that, which made it great for snowman building, for snowball fights.
Even as it came down, it was like ploppy, wet snow. And so you just knew that this was good packing snow.
Yeah. And we had a lot of fun in it. All the kids got out. Tucker got out there.
Yep.
You were running around throwing snowballs.
I know. I really got into it at one point. Like was chucking snow at kids. Maybe I was maybe it was some pent up, like, you ruined my spring break. No, they didn't ruin it, but it was definitely different. And I had a lot of fun with them. And had a lot of fun with JJ, who is small enough that she gets frustrated with like trying to crawl through the snow.
She can't. The snowsuit's not quite big enough.
Just has this amazing wonder at like the world does this. This is amazing. So I find that really fun. And then the older 2 girls are getting to an age where things are a little more like, you throw snow at me, I can attack you back, and that's really fun. And then like, we've all seen the videos of Rory who just, like he'll just run on screaming and it's a blast. So it was just a really fun afternoon.
Yeah.
That of course ended with hot chocolate and mini pies.
It was pie day.
It was pie day.
And you threw some things together and they were very delicious.
Together. Mini pies. Also maybe known as tarts.
Tartlets. All right, next segment here.
Oh,
We have to be very
we
careful
do.
about our phraseology here.
You watch your phraseology.
So the other day,
all the references.
we were folding laundry together, and we were.
So the way our house, I just have to preface all this. The way our house is set up is that our basement has our laundry, our children's playroom, and a guest bedroom. And I started to get really lazy about carrying the laundry all the way upstairs to fold it.
Right.
And I just move it from the laundry room to the guest bedroom. And then I just fold everything out on the bed, because then I can actually make piles. Because when you have to make piles for 6 human beings,
it's a lot of piles.
It's a lot of piles, and you need a lot of space. Like, I kind of need, you know how some people get like massive kitchen islands because they're just like, oh, we have so many people, we just need space to just like sit around and talk to each other. I'm like, I need a massive kitchen island to fold clothes.
I think that's called a table.
No.
Okay.
No. So anyways, we're folding the clothes.
Yeah.
And the kids are in the playroom.
Yeah.
And they're having a great time.
And we have a lot.
And I'm having a great time.
Unfortunately.
And you're tolerating it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have a lot of noise-making toys that we've acquired over the years. Yeah. And for some reason, the kids were playing with or just happened to turn on this.
There's like a sports ball one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a basketball hoop. It's got a soccer net.
Has a little scoreboard on it.
Yeah.
And it's very encouraging.
It's very encouraging.
Very encouraging. Like, and it doesn't bother me. Other than you're like, okay, already. Like,
I get it.
I get it. You want me to score. You want me to do well. Yay me.
Yeah.
You know.
And so I was thinking to myself while we were folding laundry, like, why don't adults have something similar that just provides them with encouragement? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and then I started to bring up like I paired a couple of socks and I fold them together. And it's like, good for you. You got those socks together. You found the mate. Yay.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it just.
You folded another shirt and put it on the pile. Hooray.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me that like kids get such a kick and such a rewarding feeling from the encouragement they get from these things that it makes them want to do it again and again.
Right.
Why have we gotten to a point as adults where we just feel like we have to trudge through? Why can't we have something yelling at us that yes, you are awesome, do it?
I think in many ways the rewards are different.
Yeah.
You know, like when you do your job well, they're like, good for you, here's your paycheck, or hey, you went above and beyond, here's a bonus or a raise. You know, it's a little more
or a certificate.
Yeah. You know, or like folding the laundry. When I get the laundry folded, it's a sense of accomplishment. It's more intrinsic. I don't need, frankly, if something was like, you paired another set of socks, good for you, I would probably be like,
well, I don't know if everybody else knows, but I can vouch that you are not a fan of Siri on your phone.
I have words for Siri,
which I don't really understand, but I feel like that could be a thing where like Siri could like have an encouragement mode where she could like tell you like, good job. You only used your phone for 2 hours per day this week. You know, like how my app has started doing that.
You're using your phone for 2 hours a day?
It used to be way worse. I'm down. Like,
wow.
I'm down hundreds of %.
I think my thing is that Terminator is going to happen and I don't trust the machines.
Yes. Like
Siri, I can't trust her. I will not trust her. Alexa, sorry if you have one, but Alexa is terrifying to me. Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie Smart House, why would we allow that to happen? I even get mad at our microwave. Our microwave thinks it's so smart.
Mhm.
You heat something, like you put it in for, minute 30. And when it's done and it beeps at you, then you open the door and the little message goes, food is ready. And I'm always like, you don't know that. You don't know what temperature this meat is at. This meat may not be. Why are you telling me my food is ready? Like, I just get really angry with with electronics that think they're smart, because they're not smart. They're only as smart as I am, and I am way smarter than they are.
Yeah.
So I don't want Siri giving me encouragement. I don't want her being like, good job, you did the laundry today. Yay, you made supper for your family. Like, no, that's my life. That's called life. I don't need encouragement for that. This is why you don't have toys with encouragement for adults.
Fair enough.
For people like me.
You really got into that one.
I did.
All right.
I want to apologize, and I'll disinfect this later. But apparently, I sprayed it more than I said it.
All right.
You asked for the news, and I gave you the weather. I'm sorry.
All right. Time to focus up.
Am I focused?
Are you focused? No. And that's okay, because
I
this
was
time
focused for most of the day.
This time, the talk is not as serious as it could be.
No.
So we are all dealing with this COVID-19 coronavirus thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing.
In our own ways.
It's a thing. Yes.
It's a thing. And a lot of people are not super excited about being quarantined at home.
Right.
Or at least they're not outwardly saying so.
Right. And a lot of it is coming out as like, has anybody realized that this means you're going to have X many days with your spouse and your kids? Like, you're stuck with your spouse and your kids for X many days.
Yeah. And you are not a fan of that sentiment.
I'm not. I mean, I have to admit, last week was hard on me because I was planning on having my school's spring break to myself.
Right.
And when that got suddenly taken away, my response was not great. I haven't had a lot of time just for me for a long time. And so I got really, at first I got really frustrated, really angry. And I was like, what am I going to do? Can't get anything done. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is actually kind of a cool thing. That it's not cool that this virus is happening.
Right.
Please don't misunderstand.
But the opportunities
that are coming up with it. And I don't like to think of it as like, oh, I'm going to be stuck with my kids, or I'm going to be stuck with you in the house if something were to happen with your job. Instead, I'm sort of looking at it as like, I get to work from home. I get to have time with my family. I get to, make improvements to my house. Mm-hmm. I get to, and I think in some ways when I'm starting to think through things is like, I get to do this. It takes the focus off of the scary part of like the COVID-19, the infection, the virus, the spreading of germs. Not that I'm not aware of them, but it takes the focus away from all of the scary,
the negative
stuff. And it makes me feel sort of like, oh, look at these blessings I get to have in this scary time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the big part of it for me with this whole idea that, you might be stuck with your family is that and this has always kind of bothered me. I mean, you see this a lot in sitcoms and stuff like that, but the idea that your family is somehow like a burden or the negative part of your life.
You've never considered me your ball and chain.
No. And I don't know why you would. Like, why would you marry somebody and why would you want to have a relationship with somebody that you feel like
they're holding you down,
Yeah.
or like they're keeping you pinned in place or jailing you in some way.
Like the big draw and the big one of the biggest benefits of the last few years where we were both working the same schedule was that we got
so
to
much
spend
time together.
so much time together. And that
Yes.
was really what we wanted.
Mhm.
You know, we
Mhm.
wanted to be able to have that time together and to be able to focus on our relationship and on our kids. And
right. And I think when people are thinking about like, oh, I'm going to be stuck with people, these people for so long, I think it's this idea of like, but I have these things that I want to do.
Right.
Just me. I just like to do these things. And I think we have to look at it as almost like, again, I feel like some people are going to be irritated that I'm trying to make too much of a positive out of this, that I'm starting to, or that I'm missing the fact that all of this is happening because of something bad. Trust me, I'm not missing that, but I'm trying to make the best of tough situations.
Yeah.
And the tough situation is actually providing time where I'm going like, you know, we're going to do some really cool crafts with the kids.
Right.
I've already bought some supplies that we're going to make a really cute Mother's Day present for their grandmas. You know, where I started to see these opportunities of, okay, I wouldn't normally have the time to do this. And I wouldn't usually have the time specifically with you guys to do this. So let's do that. You know, I have a feeling that if there's a time where you and I are both at home for an extended period, like there are going to be things that happen around the house that are just going to be good improvements or nice tidying things, or maybe we'll sit down and we'll be able to play a board game or Pokemon Duel, or, you know, we'll do something where it'll actually bring us closer, and hopefully it'll make the time really positive for us.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be my challenge to others out there, is that if you feel like, well, you know, during this time of quarantine or during this time of social distancing or social isolation, I'm going to be stuck with these people, that with my family, kind of flip back into your memory of like, what were the things you did before you started feeling stuck, and maybe do those things again.
Yeah.
You know, and if it was going out, obviously that's not going to work, but you know,
you can find ways to
cook a meal with each other and then sit down like you're at a restaurant.
Right. Dress up and decorate it up and get creative.
Or, you know, if you enjoyed playing board games, start playing out all your old board games, and just, you know, don't make it so that you're stuck with people. Make it that you get to be with people.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. Yeah. And one thing that I kind of worry about is that, at least for adults, that we've gotten to this point where we like home feels secondary, right? Or that your family life feels secondary to your job and to the rest of it. You feel more like your life revolves around your job and your work, and that the stuff at home is just kind of the background.
Right.
You know,
that's the other life.
Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of because most of us go to work in the morning and we spend most of the day time at work. I mean, it takes up such a big chunk of our life. And then when we come home, things kind of tend to shut off. And then, you know, and now that we're all kind of moving back into that sense of like home life as the
daytime.
Yeah, as the predominant part of life.
Right.
It feels very strange. It feels weird. And some people may not know
what to
do.
Right. And we're going to have to learn to adjust and adapt.
Yeah.
And I'm saying adapt positively.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is the goal.
Yeah, it's my goal. It really is. I know it's going to be a struggle if I end up having to have all 4 kids, and even like my syntax now, like of having to have all 4 kids at home while I'm also trying to run an online classroom. It's going to be a challenge, but I also think like there could be some really fun things. You know, even thinking now, how could I incorporate my kids into my online classroom?
Yeah.
Because I know that some of my students would find that just awesome to, you know, have my kids demonstrate things. They would find it so funny.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at this more like, how can I flip this difficult time into a positive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should try and do that all the time.
Finding God in all things, man.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do.
You are
all day, every day.
Good at that.
I am.
Oh, wow. What was that?
I don't know. Sometimes I just get annoyed with the way you do it. And so I'm like, let's just really spice this up. If we're going to do it, let's go big or not do it.
At all. Fair enough. All right. My week for the dad musing.
That's amusing.
It is. All right. So I have started a new job, as you all know. And
is it still new at this point?
Okay. Well, there were 2 phases of newness. There was we are coming up on 3 months, but there were 2 phases of starting this job, right? There was the being away from home and
the training phase, yeah.
And so it was new then. And then I got back and I started at
in-store
location
training.
Yeah, which was like kind of like a reset and a whole new experience. Yeah. So that part is still fairly new because it's only about 3-4 weeks.
I feel like it's taken on some normality. Well, both are accepted now. I just like to use the older one.
Normacy?
Is it normality or is it normalcy?
I don't know.
Normalcy know.
Normalcy sounds better. But yeah, but I'm still meeting people because there are so many employees at this location. And I actually have quite a few people that work under me as like direct reports. And so I've just finally yesterday met the last one of my team.
Right.
So that's exciting. Like I said, I'm meeting a lot of new people, a lot of very nice and smart, cool, like they run the whole gambit of interesting personality.
It's an eclectic group.
Yes.
Not that they are eclectic people, but the group as a whole is eclectic. They are a variety of people with a variety of talents and a variety of backgrounds.
Yes, sure are. But
positive.
The people that work for me, they range in ages, they range in backgrounds, like you were saying, yes. But the point I'm making is that, so I have just met all of them finally. Sorry, you got me all off track. But
sorry,
I had to meet with all of them one-on-one to get some paperwork signed. And in doing this, I realized just how much of an old man I am because I had to meet a couple of the minor workers.
Okay.
So, you know,
so under 18.
Yes. So these are like high schoolers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I haven't spoken with a high schooler in a while.
Okay.
Because
this is really intriguing to me because this is my job to just talk to high school students. Yeah. And so now I'm like, what did you say?
Well,
how old did you make yourself sound?
That's the whole thing. Okay. So, you know, I always try to ask them like how long they've been with the company, what they, you know, what other jobs they've had, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to one of the girls and you know, she was like, yeah, I've been here for a few months or whatever. And before this, I worked at Taco John's, but I didn't really like it. And I was like, oh yeah, my first job was at Wendy's. And as soon as that came out of my mouth and just like thinking about how long ago that was and like when I was first working and somebody saying something like it to me, it just like maybe like I saw myself through her eyes and I was like, wow, you are an old man. You are an old man talking to this kid about what your life was like back in the day.
Yeah. You probably started at Wendy's about 15 years ago. Maybe more like 16 or 17 years ago now.
14 or 15. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't.
I was 16.
Okay. Yeah. So 14 years ago. See, I was even
basically like when this person was born was my first job. And that was the stuff that was going through my mind was like, holy cow, I'm like compared to her, I'm like an old man.
I get that with students too. And oftentimes for me, when I'm talking to students and then I'm like, oh yeah, you weren't around for that. And they're like, wait, how old are you? Like that's usually their response to me. And I'm like, I'm older than you think.
Right.
And no more judgments.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you're a baby, no judging me.
Yeah. Well, it's just like I don't feel that old, right? Like and when we're together, I feel like we're
23.
Yeah, we're still kind of about at the same point like when we got married. I don't feel like I've aged that much in terms of like mental capacity. Or not that's not the right word to say.
Mental maturity?
Yeah.
No, well,
but even mental, that kind of.
But like mental
mature
aging, maturity, not in terms of like of being responsible, but maturity in terms of like
aging,
yeah, like losing faculties, which I'm not saying old people have lost all their faculties, but just
I don't know a good way to say it.
I don't either.
Basically,
and so I think the point we're making is that age really is like it's in your mind.
Yeah,
I think you have a physical age, but then you also have like your mental and emotional age.
I don't feel that different from when I was in college or when I was in high school.
Right.
Like I definitely
except when you really sit back and you're like, I have 4 kids. 4 kids. One of them is going to start kindergarten in the fall.
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, but that isn't like a mental
We're going to
age
have
thing.
3 kids. It is to me when I go through like oh my gosh, these are all the changes I've had to make. These are the choices I've had to make.
Sure.
This is the way my life is normal now.
Yeah.
And, X many years ago would not have been normal.
Yeah.
Then, I was, for some reason, I had a similar moment the other day, not with a student, but I was thinking about, I'm going to sound bad. I was thinking about an ex-boyfriend in terms of like, I know, I said it was just, in terms of like, so we're friends on Facebook and I know where he's at kind of in his life in comparison to like us. And he was older than me. And then all of a sudden I was like, that was like umpteen many years ago. Wow. When I dated him, I never would have guessed that in umpteen years I would be here and he would be there. And whoa, I think that's what you're talking about, is like having those moments where you just kind of go, life happened.
Yeah.
And my life happened and wow.
Yeah.
I did a whole bunch of life.
Yeah. I mean, when I walk around normally and I say, and I just say hi to people, or it's just like passing, or I feel like I'm on the same level as most people. But then like actually stopping and talking to somebody who is sometimes that much younger.
Yeah.
It made me have a moment where I was like, you sound old. You probably look old. But that's what I'm saying is like,
I don't think you look old.
I don't know.
Because if you look old, then I feel like I'm starting to look old and I really don't want to look old.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I have started using some of like the collagen boosting stuff because I'm just worried about the wrinkles.
Yeah, I just wonder what we look like through other people's eyes sometimes.
I think what it would be the test is if I could go back and be 15 and look at me now.
Yeah, and that's moment I had.
That's how I would know.
Yeah,
how old I really seem.
Yeah, that was like I had kind of that outer body experience where I like saw through her eyes what I looked like, and I was like, okay, dude, you are your first manager talking about how 15 years ago at their first job,
Yeah,
it was weird.
I'm sorry. Well, right. But I'm not sorry. I think it's good to have those life checks. I think it keeps us
in check.
grounded in reality.
True.
Yeah.
So there you go. I had an old man moment.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for dealing with that, old man.
Thanks. All right, guys. That is all we have for you this week. Any last ditch things? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
Last ditch
Yeah.
things, like a last ditch effort to
Yes,
save the show.
Save the show.
No, I mean, try it. You know what? I'm going to try and continue to be inspirational during this whole, whatever we're calling this. I don't like, I feel like certain words we use are too scary. So I'm not going to use the words like pandemic. You know, it's just that it's too scary. It's too freaky. So, during this challenge,
of struggle.
during this challenge, I'm gonna try and maybe I'll post to the Instagram sometimes. You know, like positive, inspiring moments, things that we do to try and keep ourselves happy and encouraged, so that other people maybe feel happy and encouraged.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
This can be tough.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
Well, we will be back here next week.
Sometime next week. Yeah.
And hopefully we will. Well, hopefully we will still be working, but we will keep you guys updated
I'll be working.
to the best of our ability.
I'll be working.
Yeah.
I guarantee I won't be doing my typical job. I'll just be doing it in an atypical way.
There you go.
My classroom will probably be asynchronous.
So fancy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And we will see you
next time.
You love it.
I do.